Hey everyone, so today we're going to look at the key analytics for my dad's band, the Titan Dirty Band. For the rest of the presentation, I'm going to refer to it as TND. I always like to tell people that they chose that name just to make their kids really embarrassed. So anyway, as we jump in here, the website that they use is actually pretty simple. It's one I built a couple semesters ago. So there really isn't too much to go on in terms of segmentation here about the site. It's not really broken down into the different groups who can use it, as we've looked at different segmentations and cohorts and personas throughout the week. There are, I guess, a few things that you could take a look at in terms of the gallery and different ways that you can contact people, but I'll get into that a little more later on. So in terms of market segmentation, this is just sort of a blank summary of what we tend to look at on the Facebook Insights. Facebook Insights is really the only measurement tool we have right now for the group. There's not too much on the website. We don't really track anything there yet. But this is just a snapshot of the demographic. Women, 60% of their fans. Men make up about 40%, and this is how we're going to start to break down the groups and look at a different segmentation. So in terms of King's groupings from the article we read this week, what really stood out to me from the segmentation definition was that it's groupings of similar entities. So in looking at the Facebook Insights page of the band TND, what I found was that there are 3 locations that they play at throughout the summer. So there's Brewski's Bar and Grill, Patty's on the Bay, and the Milford Yacht Club. And I think these 3 locations in which they play make up a great example of what their segmentation could be. These groups, when you go to these locations for different gigs, they have very different customers and demographics, and you can break them down in very different ways. So while they all sort of have this similar notion of being where the band plays and are all sort of on the water and have similar qualities, they're in different states and they have, as I said, different demographics. In terms of cohorts, I think the easiest way to look at the group is based on their demographics in terms of the age of their fan base. So on Facebook Insights, Generation X is definitely the largest group that they play to, but at the same time there are baby boomers who come to every gig and millennials like myself who will show up and enjoy the festivities. This also plays into the segmentation because there are different groups that make up a large portion of the demographic when they're playing at these gigs. So even though we don't see as big of a split within our Facebook Insights, from going to the gigs, I know those cohorts are out there. So as they look to sort of expand their base and figure out how to better promote the group, it's going to be interesting to see how they can build out into the millennial group and the baby boomers who are fans in real life but may not have made it over to Facebook yet or to the website. And then for personas, the way I sort of decided to break it out was also based on these sort of demographic groups. So if you look at Mike, who's their high school fan, he's probably going to Brewski's in the Bronx. He was probably one of the fans who was there from the beginning when they formed the band in high school and went to gigs in the summer. He might have been traveling to the Hamptons or something as a kid and loves to come see the gigs sort of to relive his glory days. And then there's Maria, who's a yacht owner who would be at the gigs at the yacht club. She's the person who comes out just for, there are a few weekend gigs in the summer when she can pull her boat right up to the edge of the dock and listen to the band play with her drink in hand. It's a very different sort of dynamic than the high school friends and sort of the party atmosphere of Brewski's. And then I would say the final persona would be the millennial. In this case, I use myself as an example. The millennials tend to be more of the family friends that come out, or friends of friends who know someone in the band who make up a section of the bar for whatever state we happen to be in. For KPIs right now, we're really only looking at Facebook insights, so it would be the three most important for us: content reach, post engagements, and page views. And I think what's important to sort of highlight here is that we're really looking to build a base around insights, and we haven't done that before. At least the band hasn't done that before. I'm slowly starting to kind of pick my way through what they have available and what they don't. But in order to build out these insights for them and to help them market, I think we need to start with these three insights. They're easy to obtain from Facebook, and I think they'll be very timely for us to get. We get the reports once a week. This is something that we'll be able to take an action item on right away. So I think it's all around going to be helpful for the group. So in terms of what we're looking at, I just thought I'd take Mike as a persona, who's that friend from high school who's followed the band throughout the years, comes to every gig down in the Bronx, just to sort of see how we would use these KPIs and different measurements to cater to someone like him who might be also a fan of the band. So in terms of the website, again, there's not that much here. I think if Mike were coming to the website, he would stop by the gallery and try to see what sort of pictures were there, if there's anything from back when he was in school. Maybe link to Facebook from there to see if anyone else had posted memories or pictures, had shared anything from the time when they were younger and going to see the band, and then sort of come back and maybe use the contact page, see when the next gig is. For content reach, we would want to know that a lot of our base is seeing the content that we put out on Facebook. So if Mike made it from the website to our page, is he seeing the content we put up? What is he looking at? And then that will give us a better understanding of how people are engaging with the content and what people like Mike might be looking for. This snapshot is the last week of content reach for the band. They had a gig this weekend, which is probably why you're seeing such a skyrocketing number of 845%. But we're hoping to sort of see a more steady increase and not just a spike when the gigs happen. In terms of post engagements, we would really want to take a look at the average engagement metrics and what people are clicking on. So the highest engagement levels and even reaction levels are coming from photos, which really isn't a surprise to us. We've even started posting some more videos to see if that gets any traction. There haven't been too many links yet going back and forth to the website, but we're looking to build that out in the future. So for now, it's clearly the photos that are the winner, and that's good for us to understand what's going to get people to keep coming back to the page. And then the final one that we would want to take a look at are page views. So the total people who viewed the page is important to note on a week-by-week basis. And then a few other things we would want to take a look at in terms of page views are what the top sources are from where they're coming. So is Mike someone who's going to come directly from Facebook? Is he going to come from google.com? As we build out the website, are we going to start to see that demographic comes directly from the website first instead of Facebook? And understand in the future sort of what that relationship is into who's driving who where. And then finally, the total views by section. I think this is also going to be helpful for us in terms of figuring out what people are looking at and what content needs to be created going forward. So the homepage is really the largest driver. That's where everyone's sort of checking on the feed, what's coming through. And then pictures has a slight blip, as does other, and I'm not sure yet what encompasses that, but it would be interesting to find out. So there's really a lot of work to do here, but I think taking a look at the different segmentations and the different personas and cohorts will really give us a better understanding of how we want to strategically build out these processes and what we want to look at in the future. Thanks for your time tonight.